Boomer ball, boomer ball, boomer ball. Get the branding right.
It's about to be some grown folks talking here, okay?
No representation is made that the quality of podcasting performed is greater than the quality of podcasting performed by other podcasters.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Casper with the social distance slide. Y'all know we need to stay safe out here right now, y'all. And if you believe in staying safe, I want everybody to do me a favor. You, and you. Come on.
Me?
Clap your hands. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, clap, people. Come on,
If you
come on,
really
join.
believe in staying safe, give me that clap, y'all.
Give me that clap, y'all. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Does it ever stop?
Social distance. 6 steps to the
Okay, this is
right.
starting to hurt. Oh. Can I roll in my chair? Okay. Can I come back to my mic? Oh, to the front. All right, coming to the front. Here we go. Yeah.
6 steps to the back.
Oh, moving back. Give me back. I'm social distancing,
Now
y'all. Look.
sanitize.
I'm sanitizing my hands right now.
Now
You hear them?
sanitize.
Yeah.
Now
I feel so
sanitize.
good.
Now sanitize.
Now brainwash people.
Everybody
Clap
wash
your hands.
20
Oh.
seconds to the front. 20 seconds to the front. 20 seconds to the front. 20 seconds
That's
to the
getting
front.
annoying.
One more
Getting
time.
I gotta stop you. I have gotta stop you. Maybe this one's better. Oh yeah. Run.
We can get back to normal. Let
MC
me
Run.
inform you. Let's
Daryl
get
Mack.
the vaccine. It's about community immunity. I'm talking unity for you and me. Yeah. If Doc says it's good,
I'm the king of rock. There is none higher.
King of rock. There is none higher. DMC, I will inspire. Time for us to trust and not debate. The vaccine, believe it's safe to take. 9 out of 10 people won't get sick. That's 90% effective.
Suck
and
my-
legit.
oh.
This COVID thing is real and it will find you. It's killing our people. Let me remind you. Back in the day.
Our people. What do they mean by our people? You mean just people in general, right? Are you saying you're only caring about your own skin color? Because if so, then you're a giant fucking asshole. Hi, everybody. Boomer Bob with the Boomer Bob Show. Yeah. So I'd have been here earlier, but had somebody, well, damn near put their car in a ditch, and they hit one of those little guardrails and messed up their driver's side front fender, and their car wasn't rolling too good after that. So they pulled into my driveway, and I helped them take their wheel off and get their car back to where they could drive it. That was fun because it was raining too. Yeah, Boomer Bob is a good Sam. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's whatever the fuck. Episode 22 of the Bullhorn dropped yesterday. Well, it didn't really drop. We just uploaded it to some podcast host, and sorry, heard my neighbor's brakes out there. They've been knitting new brake pads for the last 6 months. I'm surprised they haven't snapped their rotors yet. I was cruising around on the old internet over the weekend, and I found this guy. It was pretty cool, actually. Let me see if I can get it to run.
Dr. Fauci!
Now, this is I think he's Mexican. Yeah, Mexican comedian. This is on the Wake Up From COVID's Twitter page. If you want to go there and check it out, I will not put a link in the description because I ain't your bitch. Do your own homework.
So, first question. Which of the COVID-19 vaccines have been officially approved by the FDA?
3 of them. One from Moderna, which is the
Okay, that's a lie. None of them have been officially approved by the FDA.
mRNA vaccine. One from Pfizer, which is another
It's a lie.
another mRNA vaccine, and the other one is from J&J, Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, he had to get cute with it. J&J, you know me? Got that J&J. You can just say Johnson & Johnson. It's also Janssen, too. There's a Janssen involved with the Johnson & Johnson. So why don't you say J&J with their buddy J? Yo, J.
Which is a little bit different. It gives the same kind of response, but it's
They're not FDA approved. Okay? There was emergency authorization. Totally different. Trust me.
a little bit different. So there are 3 vaccines that have gotten emergency use authorization.
Oh, there it is. Emergency use authorization. That is not approval.
The FDA so far. There are a couple of others that are still being tested to determine if they're safe and effective. But the three that I just mentioned have been shown in very large clinical trials involving anywhere from 30,000 to 44,000 people per trial, were shown to be not only very efficacious, but quite safe.
Efficacious.
Okay, so I asked if it was approved by the FDA, but I think that it's a different thing that an emergency use authorization than an approval. So what is the difference between an emergency use authorization and an official approval by the FDA?
I mean, not much difference for us. Me and my wife both get paid.
Yes, that's a very good question. So an emergency use authorization is based on the criteria if the benefit clearly outweighs the risk and that you get a good degree of efficacy and safety. The full licensure is when you follow it for a longer period of time and you get more information and data. I have no doubt, given how very, very efficacious all three of these are, that they will ultimately get the full authorization in the sense of what's called a biological license approval. But an emergency use authorization is really quite of an important step in the direction of getting it the official approval.
So taxpayers are paying this guy for what's essentially a marketing job. He's marketing for the pharmaceutical companies that are producing this, well, thing that I hesitate to even call a vaccine.
So let me give you an example of how much confidence I have in the emergency use authorization. I myself got vaccinated with one of those three vaccines.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, if he uses it, wow, then I should trust it. No.
Okay. So, but if the vaccines are safe and effective, why hasn't the FDA given any of them the full official approval and license?
Actually, Eugenio, that is a very good question. There isn't like they have any problem with it.
This Mexican comic guy is really loaded with good questions today.
It takes logistically
Doesn't a good question kind of, I don't know, warrant a good response?
long time to get the approval. So when this is such a good product that you want to get it.
Is he selling it? Like, really, what is his commission here? It's a good product.
People as quickly as possible because it's life-saving. You give it what's called.
You want to get it to as many people as quickly as possible because, well, if we take too long, evidence may rear its ugly head that this is fucking with people's lives and it's really not a good idea.
An emergency use authorization.
There is no lemon law on vaccines.
If there's anything less effective in it, you just take.
Why wasn't there any emergency use authorization allowed for therapeutics? Well, because ivermectin is like 15 cents a dose. Can't make any big money off of it.
Long time to get the full approval, and rather than deprive people of getting a life-saving vaccine before all of the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed, they give it an emergency use authorization based on a lot of solid data that it works.
What is the medical and legal responsibility of the companies that are making the vaccines? What happens if secondary effects are seen, let's say, in 5 or 10 years? Can I sue the manufacturer of the product if it hurts me, or if there's long-term effects years down the road?
There is a fund that allows the compensation for injury, but I have to tell you, Eugenio, that it's very, very, very unlikely that you're going to have an effect 5 or 10 years down the pike. The reason we say that is that we have decades of experience in the field of vaccinology, and virtually all of the effects, if they even occur, and they're very rare, occur within 15 to 45 days following the dose. Each of the companies had to wait 60 days before they were able to release it to be given to the people, because the most of the bad effects, if they do occur, and I say
he's not really
it's
answering the
extremely
question.
rare,
If you're paying
they
attention,
almost all occur between.
I can't go on with this. This is just utter bullshit. Answer the question, dude. Quit dancing around it. All right. The federal government, our federal government, dumped $9 billion into this Operation Warp Speed bullshit.
Governments around the world are taking the liability. Governments, but I'm talking about the manufacturer. If there's a problem, can I sue the people that made the vaccine, not the government, the people that made the vaccine? Because I've heard they are protected from liability.
You know, they are very sensitive about hurting people, but you can sue anybody you want to sue. There's no guarantee, because it will be in a court that would decide whether or not you get compensation. But we have not had any issues with that in any of the other vaccines.
But if I sue the manufacturer who pays for that is the government, not the company. Is right?
Right.
Okay, got it. So I've heard that even if healthy people have a very low risk of dying from COVID, they should still get the vaccine so they don't spread the virus to people who might be too old.
Stand by for more bullshit.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true. So an example, if you're a young, healthy person,
blah, 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 blah.
So you have a personal responsibility and a societal responsibility to protect yourself from getting infected.
The vaccine lowers my symptoms, but it may not prevent me from being infected with SARS-CoV-2.
I mean, can I just say that about other things that I see around the world that I don't like? Like, hey, you have a personal responsibility, a moral responsibility to pull up your fucking pants. I don't want to see your boxers. Right? Does it work like that?
Which means there's the possibility that I can still...
Hey, turn your car stereo down, all right? I got a 5-year-old grandson in here who doesn't need to hear about how that guy who made that song likes to fuck bitches, get his dick sucked, and smoke weed.
Spread the virus.
Is that how that works? The whole personal responsibility thing? Or no, it's only for the vaccine. Okay.
Even after I receive the vaccine. Correct?
That's the reason why. That's the reason why we ask you to wear a mask after you've been vaccinated. But
get the fuck out of here.
You still can get infected, and you can still spread it. So I thought herd immunity works because by being vaccinated, I block the virus from spreading to other people. But this vaccine may not do that. So how does herd immunity work if I can still spread the virus even after getting the vaccine?
Now, but the fact is the vaccine protects many, 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 many people from getting infected.
You're not explaining how. Oh, I loved this clip. Here we go. Let's try this one.
A volunteer in the first vaccine trial for pregnant women is now speaking out. Expecting mothers were excluded from earlier trials, but now 4,000 pregnant women are enrolled in a study for Pfizer to make sure the company's shot is safe for both mother and baby. ABC's Ariel Reshef spoke exclusively to an Idaho woman enrolled in the trial.
If there's any way to get rid of this COVID, it's to do these studies. And sometimes you have to be the guinea pig.
No.
to figure it out. And I'm perfectly fine with being that guinea pig.
But you're not.
The study will also see if there is a transfer of COVID-fighting antibodies from mother to child.
You're not being the guinea pig. Your unborn child is, you fucking stupid bitch. You're goddamn fucking stupid. Oh, Christ. You got to be shitting me with this. Oh, let's try another one.
When is this finally going to end?
When is this MK Ultra music gonna finally end?
That's the question on everyone's minds after a full year living through the COVID-19 pandemic. The new administration does not have a clear timeline.
We are not in a place where we can predict exactly when everybody will feel normal again.
When do I think things will get back to normal? I've been cautioned not to give an answer to that because we don't know for sure.
But some public health experts say we do have an answer, and you're not going to like it. COVID-19 is never going to end.
Ta-da. You figured that one out.
We've been told that this virus will disappear, but it will not. This is a virus like other viruses that's now part of our ecosystem. It's part of our environment. We need to control it. We need to diminish its impact, but it's going to be around hassling us for the foreseeable future. And by that I mean years.
Pandemic is not a word to use lightly or carelessly.
Pandemic.
Today,
And it also starts with a P, not a B.
Next level, an endemic disease.
There are three words we use. Epidemics, where the virus can affect a very large proportion of our national population. There's the pandemic. That's when entirely new viruses come on the global scene. Endemic means that the virus is always in our population in some form, smoldering along and occasionally causing outbreaks.
Yeah. Let's see if this one's any better.
Tonight, President Biden will argue that if all Americans do their part, then life could get much closer to normal by July 4th, and that Americans could even gather in small groups to celebrate Independence Day. Nora?
Ooh, small groups for Independence Day. Yeah, I'm going to take the same stance that everybody else did when they heard this. Twitter lit up like a friggin' Christmas tree with tweets of people saying, hey, guess what, Biden? I'm going to spend 4th of July or maybe even this weekend coming up with whoever the fuck I want, however the fuck I want, and fuck you for telling me I can't. It's pretty much what everybody has said. Here's Fauci and Tapper. This could only be interesting.
In terms of CDC guidance, as you know, the guidance for social distancing, for how far people should be, there's a discrepancy. Some places, some health organizations say 3 feet or a meter is enough. But here in the United States, we say 6 feet. There's this new study from researchers in Massachusetts, just out this week. It found no significant difference in coronavirus spreading in schools where there was 6 feet of distancing versus 3 feet of distancing. But that 6-foot requirement, that's one of the main hurdles to reopening schools.
Right.
Does this study suggest to you that 3 feet is good enough?
It does indeed, and that's exactly the point I'm making, Chuck. What the CDC wants to do is they want to accumulate data, and when the data shows that there is an ability to be 3 feet, they will act accordingly. They have clearly noted those data. They are, in fact, doing studies themselves. And when the data are just analyzed, and it's going to be soon. I mean, Jake, you're asking the right questions. And the CDC is very well aware that data are accumulating, making it look more like 3 feet are okay under certain circumstances. They're analyzing that, and I can assure you within a reasonable period of time, quite reasonable, they will be giving guidelines according to the data that they have.
So any
mayors... It won't be very long, I promise you.
Any mayors or governors or school district heads listening right now, if they hear you right now and they say, well, it sounds like Dr. Fauci thinks 3 feet is good enough, that will enable us to open our school, that's right?
Well, Jake, I don't want to get ahead of official guidelines. I can tell you and promise you, I talk to the CDC, to Dr. Walensky every single day.
Yeah, because you want to know how else you can perpetuate this fucking ridiculous bullshit that we're all living through. What do you guys know about vitamin D? Vitamin D's nuts. Well, you're fixing to get you learn on Boomer Bub Show. But now this gets kind of confusing for most people. About halfway through, it starts to make a little sense where he's going with it. Trust me, pay attention. I know it gets difficult because all the big words and stuff, but you know.
Now that vitamin D3, after it's produced by the sun, goes to the liver and the 25-hydroxyl gets put onto it. This species here, the 25-hydroxy vitamin D, is what we actually measure in the blood. Whether you get it from diet or whether you get it from the sun, there's two ways of getting it, but this is how we can measure it. And that's how you're going to see it measured and reported in the rest of this presentation, is 25-hydroxy vitamin D. This is kind of like the storage product in your body. It's fat soluble. It is stored in the fat. Then when it's needed, it can either go to the immune system where it's converted into 125-dihydroxy vitamin D, which is the active form, or it can go to the kidney and it can be converted there to 125 dihydroxy vitamin D. Now, the one in the kidney is usually used for metabolism of calcium and phosphorus and things of that nature. But there's a whole other area. In fact, they found many vitamin D receptors in the leukocytes, or the white blood cells, your immune cells in the body. Now, the other thing you ought to know is that this 125 dihydroxy vitamin D, which is the active form, can be inactivated when they put a hydroxyl group, they being the 24-hydroxylase enzyme, can inactivate it by hydroxylating the 24 position. Can also do it here with 25-hydroxy from the kidney as well. So this is the inactive form. There is some evidence, and if you want more information about this, look at COVID-19 Update 83 in our MedCram series, and you'll see that high fructose corn syrup actually can accelerate this inactivation of both the 125 dihydroxy vitamin D and also the 25 hydroxy vitamin D to the inactive form. So that's not to say that other sugars with fructose couldn't do that, but that's what the studies showed that we presented in Update 83. So you may be supplementing, you may be out in the sun, but if you have a diet that's high in high fructose corn syrup,
and sugar,
and I'm not talking about fructose from fruits and vegetables, but actually high fructose corn syrup, that is something that can cause problems.
Ta-da! So knock that shit off, would you? Take your vitamin D, get your vitamin D, and don't cancel it out by eating garbage. I mean, I happen to love garbage. It's one of my favorite things to eat. I'm like Oscar the Grouch. Hey, let's fuck with Biden.
Well, as I said, this is going to create, we have to spend this money to make sure we have economic growth.
Oh, so you're going to prop up your own economy. I mean, sure. Sounds good, right? Okay. I'm going to move on to the commentary section. There's been a lot of shit going on. We got jurors being picked and trial stuff starting for the George Floyd trial. I shouldn't call it that, but, you know, the Darren Chauvin or whatever the fuck his name is trial, which I've seen the toxicology report. Probably going to get off based on that alone. And if he doesn't, the only reason he's getting convicted is because, well, the courts are afraid. And the courts are stupid because these people are going to burn shit and fuck shit up anyway. I mean, they're doing it now. They're doing it because it's the anniversary of the death of Breonna Taylor. I'm going to throw some commentary in. So while critical race theorists throw proverbial bricks through this country's social window, followed by Molotov cocktails and the woke Olympics, China, through its authoritarianism, continues to build, and in the past couple of decades, or since 9/11, if you want to put that into perspective, China has built 5 new cities from scratch. Major cities, with tens of millions of people living in them. Built a skyscraper in 19 days. Revamped an entire highway in a month, and got 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. All of these things could be done here, in the country that invented that shit, without the help of authoritarianism and information control, but no. We're worried about fueling racial and literal fires during awards shows. Well, what are awards shows for? Well, they used to be for the recognition of talent, hard work, dedication, the appreciation of the arts created by the artist, and any and all supporting staff. But not anymore. Award shows, no matter the genre, are for shouting revolutionary slam poetry or the affirmation of your positions so as to let the establishment know where you stand and to guarantee that they throw work in your direction. But that's not enough, though. Presenting the award is for reading your modern-day manifest destiny to an audience of people who nod and clap in agreement. Receiving an award is for the same thing, but also when the award is acquired by someone in a non-marginalized category, signaling your position of agreement with the marginalized by saying you don't agree with your winning of that award. And the award should go to insert nominated marginalized person's name here. Saw that last night with Billie Eilish. I didn't watch it, but I saw clips. The majority of these problems are fueled by outside forces. entities that benefit from a crumbling America. Now, that's a broad list of everything from entire countries and regimes like the CCP to multinational corporations like Google and Facebook, to independently wealthy individuals like Soros or insert multi-billionaire's name here. In the grand scheme of things, we are only roughly 320 million people in a world with a population 23 times that size. Why focus on 320 million when you have 7 billion more people to profit from? Well, we have a lot of wealth in this country. Not necessarily you or I, but as a collective, we represent a large amount of money. In an article released a few days ago, it was stated that the U.S. household wealth hit a record $130.2 trillion in 2020 despite the pandemic. And it's based on Federal Reserve data. Household wealth jumped 10.1% in 2020 compared with 2019, driven by surging stocks and home prices. Home prices in America shot up to what I would call unsafe levels during 2020 because of the lowered interest rates, and they were adjusted to help combat financial fallouts of this pandemic bullshit. Now, while the Fed data doesn't break down the distribution of wealth, which ultimately is putting a mask on the effects of inequality, I saw people I never thought would take an interest in the game of investing, albeit stocks or crypto, in 2020. 2020 made people bored. While some started podcasts complaining about life, others focused on learning an instrument or getting healthy and doing more things outdoors. Some learned about investing from the comforts of lockdown. Other countries want their piece of this. They're destined to get it. Well, how? Well, the puppet masters in D.C. want to serve it to them on a platter by propping up dangerous immigration policies, getting everyone vaccinated just enough to keep everyone sick, perpetuate lockdown status, and pushing bullshit science while telling you to wear more layers of cloth over the only hole in your body that allows you to intake oxygen. The media is bought and paid for by Chinese and corporate interests. China owns more of our networks and media production companies than most people are aware of. Companies like Disney, owner of some of the largest entertainment franchises on the planet, and all of our networks from cable to major networks like ABC, CBS, and NBC, are all owned by Chinese investments and ad revenue from Big Pharma. You'll never see a news story discussing someone who got sick or died because of a medication or vaccine produced by Pfizer, Moderna, etc. Some who receive priority ad revenue from companies like Pfizer will openly shit on AstraZeneca and their vaccine that got pulled for causing blood clots in an effort to prop up the one that pays them, Pfizer, and their medication and their vaccines. It's all good, though. Be sure to check your mailboxes and bank accounts this week for your $1,400 payoff, that drop in a bucket, that Band-Aid on the bullet wound, that hot dog down the hallway. It amazes me that people are too stupid to see what this is. $1.9 trillion in rescue for the American people. Nope. As the Wall Street Journal has noted, most of this House bill has less to do with the virus and more to do with paying lobbyists and other groups favorable to Democrats. $350 billion to state and local governments, i.e. the Democrats who wrecked their local economies during COVID. You've got $289 billion to extend unemployment, which comes in the form of $300 a week supplements to state unemployment payments. $135 billion to tax credits, which is $3,600 for children under 6 and $3,000 for 6 and older. $129 billion to public schools, K through 12, aka teachers' unions. Yes, teachers' unions that wish to keep our public schools closed so that they can continue their paid vacations. They're targeted to get $129 billion, despite the science that they rely on saying young children are the least likely to become infected, and the fact that the teachers are some of the first to receive the vaccine that they believe in so much. $86 billion to bail out 185 failing pension plans, which doesn't include any reform for these plans, underfunded due to lax federal standards. Never fix the problem, just throw money at it and protect your political career. Good job, guys. $50 billion to small businesses. Well, now this would be a higher number, but since so many small businesses took their last breath a year ago, well, it is what it is. We got $410 billion to adults earning under $80,000 a year in the form of $1,400 deposits, checks, or debit cards in the mail. So $410 billion is going to end up in the hands of Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, Apple, Samsung, Google, and local dispensaries or your local weed dealer. Thank you guys for listening. I've got to run. I have some stuff that I need to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe I can rake in a little of y'all's newfound wealth. Till next week, this is Boomer Bob.
Ain't no lie, getting old as a bitch. Gonna spit this game, only way I'll get rich.